Cutback for Vasilev, and Lukic! A banger of a strike for Jovan Lukic's first MLS goal! It's fallen out to Westfield! Oh, wow! He's nearly taken the roof of the net off! Philadelphia pounce again! Who gets his goal in his Union debut? The record signing, off and running in his first appearance for the club.
Hello and welcome to the Free Kick Podcast. My name is Todd, and this may be a first on the Free Kick Podcast, back-to-back podcasts for us. Obviously, last night we go and talk about Kai Wagner rejoining the Philadelphia Union, and I mentioned towards the end of the show that we would come back on Sunday night at 9 p.m. to bring you guys the FIFA World Cup conversation, recap it all. As we know, Spain defeated Argentina 1-0 thanks to a Torres goal in extra time. No Jose Nunez, as you guys can see that it is just me on the screen by myself. Jose is in Portland, Oregon, on his way on a train down to California, I believe it is. But I do have other guests lined up because this was planned. We were going to bring on a whole bunch of guests, and two of them, we weren't able to have them on, or I guess technically Jose is not a guest, but we do have two guests tonight, and that is Mike Barrera from AAT Sports across the bridge, and then Jasmine Ferreira from I don't even know what to say from Jasmine Ferreira. That's Jasmine from Jasmine, and we'll talk about our connection here in a bit, Jasmine. But thank you guys so much for joining me tonight and recapping all things 2026 FIFA World Cup. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. Yeah. Can't wait.
Oh no!
We lost one. We're down. We're losing members.
We're losing people. They said that the viewership's not where it should be. Jose Nunez is in here, and we're going to just leave. So this is what happens when Jose doesn't show up. Let's see. You good, Jasmine?
Yes, I'm good. Sorry, I couldn't hear you guys.
Okay. Oh wow, you didn't even hear my intro. But
nope, not a thing. I'm sure it was great.
It was on the fly, but yeah, the 2026 FIFA World Cup is officially over as Argentina, as I said, Spain defeated Argentina 1-0 thanks to a Torres goal. And it feels so surreal that the World Cup's finally over. It felt like it wasn't a month and a half. It felt like, 12 months, just every single day watching games. And I know towards the end of the tournament, we weren't able to watch games every single day as teams were getting knocked out. But what an unbelievable tournament. What a not so maybe unbelievable final compared to the game we saw between England and France yesterday. 6-4, 10-goal thriller. Only a 1-goal game today in the final. But you kind of expect that in a final. But overall, you guys' thoughts on today's game between Spain and Argentina? I'll go with you, Mike.
I mean, yeah, compared to yesterday's game, it was nowhere near as entertaining. I was expecting a bit more scoring in the in the first 90 minutes, but honestly, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the tournament. Not every game is going to be amazing, and ultimately, I had a great time this past whatever it was, 30, 40 days. So it's bittersweet to see it come to an end.
Jasmine? Wearing your
Gavi
jersey?
If you can't tell, I'm having a great day. Yes. I did expect more goals, seeing the shots on goal that Spain had and none for Argentina, but they won and that's all that matters. And the game yesterday, I knew that would one up this final.
Absolutely.
You can't, it's 10 goals. You can't.
There was no way we were getting 11 goals between Argentina and Spain. And a final, no way. I mean, I feel like the nerves have to be so high for whatever team makes a final. You always see a super defensive game. Jose corrected me in the chat, said not going to California, going up to Seattle from Oregon. So yeah, Jose not here. That was the whole point. But yeah, I mean, you look at the last World Cup between Argentina and France, goes to penalty kicks. Super defensive game in that. Prior to that, 2018, putting me on the spot. Who won that? Not Germany. Oh, God. Yeah, 2018 was France. And then in 2022, it was Argentina. 2014, it was Germany. 2010, Spain. And I feel like all these games that we've seen the last, 16 plus years, all been super tight. So yeah, we should expect a super, super tight tournament final, and that's what we got. But yeah, what a time, what a time. And so for people who maybe didn't listen to last night's episode, the whole idea of doing the show was to, yes, obviously recap the World Cup in America, Canada, and Mexico, but get it from a perspective that maybe a lot of listeners don't really have, where Mike and I, we attended the game as fans. Jasmine, you attended as a volunteer in Foxborough and also got to go to a couple games, I think 2 games as a fan.
Yeah.
And then Jose was going to join us.
Norway and
What was the other one? Norway?
I went to Norway, Iraq, and Germany, Paraguay, which that was a crazy one.
And Mike and I saw Paraguay versus France, so it's funny.
Yep. Yeah, I saw France and Iraq as well. So there you go. We all saw basically the same teams.
We did. And you had made the joke, Mike, saying that you wanted to see France win, to say that, hey, you saw a World Cup winning squad, and it was close. But yeah, Spain, I mean, unbelievable team. Only 1 goal conceded the whole tournament, which is insane. Jose was going to give us perspective as a journalist covering these games. I believe he went to 5 out of 6 games in Philadelphia. And then Mandy Kennedy, who's a rapid listener of this show, I know, Across the Pitch with you, Mike. She was going to join us, give her perspective as a volunteer in Philadelphia, but a lot of health issues with her mom. So prayers up that her mom gets better. So it's just going to be us tonight, us 3. And it's totally fine. You know, I would much rather do this show with other people than just myself. And it's been a while since I've done a podcast, a solo episode. So I'm glad to have you guys join me tonight. But I guess we'll go ahead to you first, Jasmine. What was that whole process like, becoming a volunteer with FIFA? I think I read something that over 20,000 people maybe applied to be volunteers for FIFA. And so I know a lot of people that have applied and never even heard back from FIFA.
The number was actually insane. It was 1 million people
1 million,
that applied.
Wow.
1 million, and 65,000 got accepted for across all of the stadiums. I am not usually a lucky person, but I'm glad that this was the time that I got lucky, because this was the best experience of my life so far, and I don't know how I am going to one-up this.
But so what was that process like, applying for games? How long did you have to wait to hear back from FIFA? I know once people heard back, you guys had to go through interview processes, right?
Yes, I applied in July of last year, and then I did my first interview November. I had another one in January, and then I didn't hear back until May. So it was close to a year of just waiting patiently.
And then you finally get the call back. And could you guys apply to be volunteers in multiple stadiums, or was it just one stadium and that's where you're going to be throughout the whole tournament?
It was one stadium. I applied to Boston, and I believe Boston accepted 8,000 for volunteers at that stadium.
Wow. 8,000.
And I did ceremonies, and 400 people, I think, were a part of ceremonies.
That's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of working parts.
And you guys had to get there, I would imagine, 3+ hours, maybe a little bit earlier, to get to the games, to prep, practice, all that stuff.
We got there about 7 hours earlier.
7.
It was a long day. Yep. But I enjoyed all of it. We would rehearse, and all of the volunteers were such amazing people, and the staff. It was just such a great experience. So I did not mind being there for as long as I was.
And feel free, Mike, any questions, comments, concerns, chime in here too, because yeah, I mean, it's a whole side of things that I think I personally have no idea about. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners have no idea what goes into volunteering, the whole process of applying and then the interview and everything. So yeah, I am super grateful to get you on, Jasmine, and know at least two people, and maybe there's more. Maybe there's other listeners that were volunteers at different stadiums, but they haven't come forward yet. But two people I can say with certainty I know got accepted. One in Philadelphia, and yourself up in Foxborough, Massachusetts. 7 games, I believe, though, Jasmine. 7 games in Foxborough, Boston Stadium, 5 group stage, 1 round of 32, and then a quarterfinal match. Do you have a favorite game that you were there for?
Definitely when England, I didn't get to see them, but that was the most starstruck I was the whole tournament. I did forget some of my cues because of it, but that was the only time I messed up.
What happened?
England was right in front of me. When we had to set the flag down, I was still standing, and so everyone went down as I was still standing, and then I got my cue.
Hey, you did well, I'm sure. Mike, I mean, when you look, you and I went to 2 games in Philadelphia, and the game we went to on 4th of July, it was 104, 105. It was so hot, so humid. We know throughout the country, very, very hot. We know how it gets in America in the summertime. And looking at whether it be a Dallas or an Atlanta, seeing these nice air-conditioned, cool stadiums, it's like, man, you guys don't realize how good you have it. Well, we got to this game, 4th of July game, so early. I think we went inside the stadium at 2:20, something like that, walked around the fan zone. It was totally worth it and everything. But yeah, the one thing that you and I talked about when we were walking inside Lincoln Financial, Philadelphia Stadium, whatever FIFA wants us to call it, we noticed on that day that there was a lot of medical personnel because of how hot it was. And it didn't matter what level of the floor that we went on, always medical personnel, lots of people getting wheelchaired away on stretchers and everything, which I would imagine is because of heat exhaustion, why they were passing out, why they were needing assistance. But yeah, I think that's one thing maybe fans take for granted is these volunteers, whether it be people like Jasmine setting out what it takes to put on the festives before the game, or whether it be the volunteers that are in there assisting people that, God forbid, something happens to them.
Right. Yeah, I went to 3 fan fests, days, and I remember when I walked into one of them, I had gotten there fairly early, one of the earlier games, and I remember I passed by this volunteer right by the entrance, and I walked into the stadium or the fan fest, and I had a great time, and I left, and the same guy was right outside when I left too. So he's put in like a 7-8 hour day out there, just standing there greeting people. He's not even part of the event necessarily. He's just out there by the corner, making sure people are having a nice time and greeting people. And I'm thinking he's out there in pretty uncomfortable weather for a long stretch of time. Obviously, he probably had breaks too, but still, it's not easy. So the fact that they were out there doing those little things that maybe didn't get noticed. You referenced the heat. We saw volunteers moving people along, making sure everybody's okay. And the same thing, I went to the France Iraq game, and it was pouring, and those volunteers are out there in the pouring rain too, doing the same thing. So it was really cool to see everybody just work really well together, but also just the positive energy they had. As soon as you passed by a volunteer, they were smiling at you and making sure you had a great day. So it was really, really cool experience.
Jose has a question for you. Jasmine says, Jasmine, tell us about the gear you earned for volunteering. I'm seeing a ton of people selling their stuff on eBay. Are you selling your stuff, Jasmine?
No, it is going for a lot, though, I've seen. We got so many gifts. We would get a new souvenir at every volunteer shift. We got Bluetooth speakers, magnets, pins, stickers. Honestly, the best gift was the volunteer jacket that we would wear. It's so cool.
Yeah, and I would imagine, there's a limited amount of those, and a lot of people like yourself, I'm sure, are going to hold on to that. But, with the way that the economy is, people are going to try to get as much merch or as much money as they can possibly for selling some of the stuff. Sexy Hoagie asked, did you get a fanny pack?
I did, yes. I will be keeping that and my jacket. Who knows what I'll be selling?
Hey, whatever you price it for, and even if you put a higher price than what people are pricing it at currently, I'm sure if you're patient enough, you'll get what you're asking for, because not everybody's going to sell their stuff, and it's not like there's a lot of this merchandise or volunteer gifts that FIFA gave you guys floating around there. So I don't know. I mean, it's cool holding onto your fanny pack and the volunteer jacket because, I mean, it's, of course, you took pictures, and I'm sure the friendships that you made with the other volunteers and everything are going to last you a lifetime. You're not going to forget that and everything. But it is cool looking back at the stuff that you were given and looking over at it once in a while. Say, oh, yeah, I did that. Not that you're going to forget, Jasmine. I would imagine, and I know the answer because you and I talked about this. I heard volunteers in Philadelphia got game balls. I would assume you did not.
Wow.
No, I did not. In fact, I have not heard a single thing about that. So I did think you were making it up.
No.
But then I did some research and they are actually getting match balls, which I did not get.
Jose can back me up on this. Like, Jose, I knew you're in the comments. Like, you know that for a fact that people got balls to take with them after their last day volunteering in Philadelphia. So maybe they stole them. Maybe they actually weren't given. Maybe they just took them after the game was over. Nobody's looking. Put them under the shirt in a bag or whatnot, and walk out the stadium. No questions asked. There's a question again here for you, Jasmine, from Philly Rivers. Nothing to do with the World Cup, but it does have to do with Philadelphia Union. Were you at the last Olivier Bizot, his last game as a Philadelphia Union player in Foxborough when the Union played New England? It feels like forever ago.
When was that?
May.
23, wasn't it? Oh, May. Oh, yeah.
May. I was not there. I was in Spain.
Yeah,
I wanted to go.
Spain, see Olivier Bizot's last game that nobody would have saw coming. I don't know. You made the right decision going to Spain for a month, I believe it was. Ooh, maybe that's why Spain won the World Cup. You were the good luck charm.
It is, because I will tell you this right now. Barcelona won the league while I was there. They're my favorite team. And then after I get back from Spain, who wins the World Cup?
Mhm.
So I think that they should also congratulate me because I think I had a part to do in it.
You did. First time in Spain?
Yes. Yep. First time out of the country. And I chose that spot because I love Barcelona. And that was just the craziest experience for me because the streets were just full of Messi jerseys, Yamal jerseys. I felt right at home.
Yeah, I would imagine that we're probably not seeing too many Barcelona Messi jerseys right now with Spain playing Argentina, but maybe there are. I've seen videos going on social media already. I mean, the streets, whether it be in Madrid, whether it be in Barcelona, absolutely flooded with people, fireworks going off. I mean, they're going to be partying throughout the night. Again, what a tournament for Spain. 1 goal conceded, which is, again, so insane. But let's go back talking about volunteering for you, Jasmine. So a lot of big players that you got to be on the field with. I know maybe not interacting with them, but still being on the same field that you're watching these guys. I mean, you were there for Haiti, Scotland, Norway, Iraq, Scotland, Morocco, England, Ghana, Norway, France, Germany, Paraguay, and then France, Morocco for the quarterfinal. I mean, a lot of France. And maybe if France would have made it to the final, maybe you could have had a little part to play in that too. But when you look at all the different fan bases that came to Foxborough, do you have one that sticks out to you, a favorite?
I loved Haiti versus Scotland because Scottish fans, those are the most passionate people I've ever met. It was such a fun atmosphere. Them and the Norway fans, they were my favorite. And it was really cool to see Norway play too. Holland, I felt like I was not in my body. At one point, there was a shot on the Jumbotron of me in between Sorloth and Holland. And that was an out-of-body experience, I will say.
That's pretty sick. That is pretty sick. What about you, Mike? I mean, you talked about going to the Fan Fest, 2 games you went to in Philadelphia Stadium. You're obviously Mexican. For people who don't know, you may be a little bit biased and say the Mexican fans are your favorite, but maybe not. Or maybe I'll save you. Anybody but Mexico. Any fans that stuck out to you, Mike, during your time in Philadelphia?
The Iraq fans, for sure, in Philly at least, were awesome. Both when I went to FanFest, I had left and the art museum is right next to where the Lemon Hill area is. So I walked up there and they were on top of the steps by the Rocky statue, just drumming, having a great time. And there wasn't even a lot of them, at least in Philly, but it was just, they were so loud, so passionate. And then when I went to the game, the France versus Iraq game, it's pouring out there and they were out there in their ponchos and they were having a great time. So obviously for me, Mexico and seeing them play with Mexican fans was amazing. And I think it was one of those surreal experiences where you're just surrounded by people of your culture. And for me personally, I don't get that experience a lot. So certainly like a kind of like Jasmine said, like an outer body experience to be in that. But I think the Iraq fans, they held their own, and I'd say they were almost like more rowdy and louder than the French fans. So it was cool. I mean, honestly, everybody who was there was super respectful, super energetic, and then we all had a great time.
Yeah, I loved watching the videos on social media, whether it be the fans just going down the streets of Philadelphia, obviously the Croatian fans walking down. God, I forget the name of the street now because I'm not from Philadelphia, but walking down with the flag, and eventually they come off of their path because they see people getting married in Philadelphia. And so just all these Croatian fans interrupt the wedding ceremony and they're celebrating with this couple. I mean, unbelievable scenes you see, to your point, Jasmine, of the fans in Scotland out drinking all the bars in Boston, and they had to get an emergency shipment in of beer for the next day. Insane stories. I know this country is fallen in love with the Norway fans and the Norway national team. Holland, I feel like, even though he's not a pop star, I feel like now he's an icon in this country just because of him documenting his trip, I think, on Snapchat, which I didn't even know people still use that, but apparently Holland does, and people were falling in love with his stories around America. Winds up taking a raccoon that was stuffed with whiskey in its hand and whatnot. And this local store in Dallas now sold out of that. And now everybody wants to go and buy cowboy boots and hats, all because Holland posted about his time in Dallas. And so, yeah, I mean, there's so many great stories, a lot of great fans in this country. And I think for me, seeing the smaller countries, whether it be a Haiti or Carousel in Philadelphia, just seeing how passionate they were for, let's face it, I don't think a lot of people were giving either one of these teams a chance to go far in the tournament. But we see even Cape Verde, I think, is a huge story too, holding Spain, the champions, to a 0-0 result down in Atlanta, I believe they played. Argentina going to extra times with Cape Verde, who we were all hoping that they would upset Argentina. Did not come to be, but yeah, I mean, they came from behind twice in that game and took them to extra time, and an unbelievable just tournament for, I think, so many small nations. And even Curacao, the first game, they get blown out 6-0 by Germany, and we're like, well, what a waste it is for them to come here. But then they really turned it around. So I think this country, I think we love these small underdog stories, of course, like the Brazils, the Argentina, the Spains, the England. Like they're going to be favorites, but I think this country really got captivated by watching these small nations. I don't know if that's anything you want to touch on there about maybe some of these smaller nations, Mike or Jasmine, but yeah, that was pretty moving watching these teams throughout the tournament.
Yeah, I think from a Philly perspective, I think we're always viewed as an underdog. So I think the Ivory Coast fans were in Philly. They were also practicing in Chester. So I think Philly kind of attached himself to Ivory Coast a bit there, and they were cheering them on. I know I was at FanFest when they played Germany. Obviously, they didn't get the result they were looking for, but it was hard not to like fall in love with these countries that were going up against these really massive clubs.
Jasmine, anything you want to add to maybe these smaller countries? Haiti, you got to see Denley John Jack in
sure
Foxborough.
did. Yep. And Cape Verde also blew it out of the water for me. I will never forget them. And I'm sure that tourism will skyrocket there now.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were like, I don't even know where this country is. And now with how well they did, you're absolutely right. I'm sure that's going to do wonders for the economy now. People are going to want to go and check out what that country has to offer. I mean, of course, I'm sure there's bad fans in every country's fan base and everything, but I legitimately can't recall any concerning situations that I saw on social media. It just seems like so many people really embrace their time in America. So many people embrace different cultures, and that's the cool thing about the World Cup is bringing all these people around from all over the world, or even not the World Cup, like soccer in general. Like it's why it's the beautiful game. I would have no idea who Mike is. I would have no idea who Jasmine is if it wasn't for soccer, who Jose is. All of us came together because of soccer. And it's funny when I look at it, Mike and even Jose, I know you're listening, like it all started because of a podcast. Jose started listening to Across the Pitch and messaged you to come on and talk, Mike, and then he becomes a regular on Across the Pitch with you and Dave Miller. Jasmine, when Jose and I were doing the show, reached out and says, "Oh, you guys need help with the podcast? I'll help." And we're like, "Yeah, we'll take it. We can't pay you." And so she's done an incredible job for people who don't know, running our Instagram. She's the reason why we have so many cool graphics. And I know there's people in the Philadelphia Union organization that listen to this podcast. I am not the one making graphics. It is Jasmine. Jasmine, who is on the show right now. Definitely hire her. She does a phenomenal job. It is not me. I cannot take that credit for that. All I do is just sit behind a mic. But yeah, it's a beautiful game for a reason, and it's the same with all you listeners too. Like none of us would know each other without soccer. So yeah, it is cool seeing these stories and these lifetime relationships that people have, whether it be because of the World Cup, whether it be because of local soccer.
Even when I go to Philadelphia Union games, I feel like that's my family in the crowd because everyone is passionate and loves what I love. And it just feels like such a good community to be around when I'm at those games.
Yeah, there was I think I told you this, Todd. There was when I went to the One Fan Fest with my friend Chris, and we had been drinking, having a great time, whatever, and we ended up running into some people there. And later on that week, they invited us to their housewarming party. Now, granted, we couldn't go because of other obligations, but I'm like, these people that I've never met before in my entire life, who I watched the soccer game with, and who I was probably like slurring my words around with because I'd been drinking. Like they have no idea who I am. They thought I was a good enough time in that moment. They're like, yeah, let's just bring them back and have a housewarming party. So I know my friend has hung out with them since then as well. So it's just really unique the way you connect with people in these types of environments. And like you said, Todd, I wouldn't know you without soccer.
Yeah. Now, you just gave a story, right, Mike? These random people you never met, housewarming party. Anything crazy you see as a volunteer in Foxborough, Jasmine? Any stories that stick out to you? I know I mentioned the Scots out drinking all the bars in Boston, but anything else stick out to you about the World Cup being in Boston, Foxborough?
Well, people figured out that Foxborough wasn't in Boston, and that was quite an upset. But beside that, I'm pretty sure that Boston had the most positive ratings out of all the stadiums. I might be lying, but that's what I heard. And Boston got the Golden Star for ceremonies, which I was very happy about.
Good job, Jasmine.
Thank you. It was all because of me.
Yeah.
No, I had about, I think it was 100 people who were on each flag. And yeah, it's just so insane how complex and detailed such a big event is, and how the timing for every single person has to be perfect. And somehow it is. It's crazy how that system just works, but it all just falls into place with so many people.
Did I don't know if any of you guys, when you were in high school, did marching band? Did any of you guys do that?
No, but it reminded me of theater.
Okay, yeah. So like watching the coordination with the fans bringing out the flags, with people coming out, and the big country flags I'm talking about. I know there was like people holding flags on sticks and whatnot, but like watching all of that, the fans on the side as the players walk out through the tunnels, it reminded me of marching band. And listening to you talk about that, how everything has to be in coordination. I was in marching band in high school, and it's like, man, watching some of the videos that got posted on YouTube, these designs that we were trying to make as we were marching and playing our instruments at the same time, like, what the heck were we trying to make here? Like, this is so off. And it's like one person can throw the whole thing off. And so, yeah, it's why you get there 7 hours, like you said, Jasmine, to coordinate, to practice, because you get one shot at it once the cameras and the lights get rolling. So it's not like, oh, let's go ahead and have a retake. Nope. Got to just go with it. So, yeah, I can definitely see how that's nerve-wracking, how that can be a little bit intimidating. But 7 games in Foxborough, I think after the first couple, you probably get used to it. Maybe, I would imagine. I hope.
We did, yes. There was just so much that went into it when you were on the pitch specifically. We had to count each of our steps, and there were stitches in the flag that you could barely see, but you had to make sure that you were holding on to them, and each person had their own stitch. But you had to find that stitch as you were actively running with the flag, and you had to figure out where the stitch was. So it was very stressful until it fully got out on the field, and we just had to stand there, listen to the national anthems, and look up and see the crowd and hear this. It was, the whole experience was insane.
Do you have a favorite national anthem you heard?
Yes, I think it was Paraguay. There was one that sounded like an orchestra, and it was beautiful, but I
think it was
am blanking
Paraguay's.
on which one.
I think it was Paraguay's.
I think it was. Yes.
Yeah, their fans were pretty cool in Philly, weren't they, Mike?
Yeah, listen, it was hot, like you said, and they were still out there having a great time. And it's a shame that the weather was so brutal, because I think that tailgate experience would have been so much better. But no, they were really a fun crowd.
Yeah, they were. Let's go ahead and talk about, and if we come back to talking about volunteering, Jasmine, or if there's anything that you want to talk about in terms of your time volunteering in Foxborough, Boston, whatever FIFA wants to call it. We all know it's Foxborough, not really Boston, but I guess for FIFA's sake, Boston, to make it sound better. But yeah, if we come back to that, feel free to bring up whatever you want to talk about. But the whole fan experience, Mike. You and I don't think the listeners, or maybe there's some people that are listening, that was kind of a spur of a moment thing for us. I don't know if you were planning on yourself going to the 4th of July, but for me, I just woke up one day. I was like, you know what? It's the last possible game in Philadelphia. I said I wanted to go to a World Cup game. I haven't done it yet because of work. I said, if I'm going to go, it's either going to be the 4th of July game or it's going to be the Croatia-Ghana game. Did not go to Croatia-Ghana. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I hit you up and you're like, you're so down to go. Yeah, you've been to one game already, but it's the last game. It's 4th of July. Let's go. And you and I, so intense watching on the secondary market, Mike, thought we had tickets. And then my credit card said, not so fast. This is fraud. And so we had to scramble next day, get tickets, and incredible view that we had. But yeah, I don't know. Were you considering going to the 4th of July game at all, Mike?
I wasn't sure. I was kind of torn on it. I very much was planning on going to the first one, and I'm somebody who will do things by myself. I went to the France-Iraq game by myself. I ended up running into people there coincidentally, but I was down to go solo. And when you said like, "Hey, I haven't gone yet," like I think I'm going, I didn't even think twice. I was like, "Yeah, listen, this may not happen again in my lifetime, right? Knock on wood." So I have to take advantage of it. But I remember you saw a price that was really low, and I was driving down 301 leaving Maryland, and it was like pulled my car over real fast to some random parking lot. We're on the phone trying to coordinate this, and then I remember you texting me at 1:30 in the morning, "Hey, are you up?" Like, I just saw the prices drop. I was like, "No, I'm asleep right now." So I think it was one of those things where I wasn't really expecting to go, but now that I did it again and I got the experience with you in particular, I would have done it again in a heartbeat, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and talk about your experience for the first World Cup game that you went to, Mike, between Iraq and France. For people who maybe aren't in Philadelphia, not many of these games got delayed because of weather, but Philadelphia's game with France and Iraq was definitely one of those.
Yeah, so that whole weekend was pretty crazy because I had the Fan Fest on Friday, Fan Fest on Saturday, Father's Day on Sunday, and then I went to the World Cup game the next day. So my liver was just working overtime that whole weekend. But I got to the game on Friday. Obviously, it was pouring, absolutely pouring, and I was really expecting the crowd to go home at some point because it was about like an hour and a half, 2 hour rain delay. I think it was 2 hour rain delay. Um, but it was fun. The party continued. We found like shelter underneath one of the staircases at the link. I probably lost my voice screaming, to Mexican fans as they passed by me and doing dumb chants and just having a great time. And I think that almost made the experience better, to be honest with you, is having something like that happen. That was just unique and different and fun. And it kind of also relieved the tension from the game. Like we weren't just locked in watching this match. We were all just now mingling with each other and just sharing stories and whatnot. So um, as different as both games were, I think the way the rain kind of influenced it really actually made it more memorable from the whole overall experience.
No weather delays in Foxborough, right, Jasmine?
There were not. We had great weather every single game.
Lucky you guys. Lucky you guys. I do feel like Philadelphia.
Sorry, Mike.
It's okay.
I feel like Philadelphia. I mean, a lot of people listen to this podcast. Obviously, you guys are based in the area, but I really do feel like Philadelphia should have got a quarterfinal game. I mean, the atmosphere was unbelievable. I know you guys in Foxborough did get one, Jasmine, but Philadelphia should have been up there. I mean, the atmosphere, the fan zone going on throughout the whole tournament. I mean, what other cities were they doing a fan zone in Foxborough, Jasmine, or Boston?
They were. Boston and Providence got them.
Oh, in Providence. Did they do one every single day, like in Philadelphia?
I think so. I only went to a couple in Providence. I heard the Boston one was crazy, and I'm really scared of driving in Boston, so that's why I didn't attend. But I wish I did, because I did hear great things about that one.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, you can talk about your experience at Lemon Hill 3 times. You said you were there some days extremely late, and just for a city like Philadelphia, who look, we try so hard to make the union relevant, and I know WIP, the fanatic, won't give the union soccer the time of day, and I I mean, what more needs to be shown to them that soccer is relevant than seeing all the fans that came out to the stadium, Lincoln Financial, coming to the city itself, or fans going to Lemon Hill for this watch party? Like, soccer matters in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think. Well, first of all, obviously, congrats to Philly for doing it and doing it right. They were fantastic as a host. Also, they had a very quick turnaround because the following week was the MLB All Star Week, so they had a really busy several weeks there. I think from an outsider perspective, Philadelphia gets a bad reputation. They always have. They probably always will. I get it, but they really showed out and showed the people that were visiting why Philadelphia is actually a great city, and the people are great and we're welcoming, and it is brotherly love for a reason. Um, the fan fest at Lemon Hill was really well done. The volunteers did great. The seating areas, the way things were spaced out, it was perfect. It was honestly the best experience I've ever had watching games, and I really hope they do it again. I don't think people understand just how much fun the whole thing was. Like now we're talking about it, but I think years later we're like, man, this was a lot of fun. We had a lot of like a really great time, and I really hope that they decide to do something similar for other sporting events because it was free to get in, the food was reasonable, the drinks were reasonable. It was just great energy the entire time.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong, I'm extremely excited for MLS to start back up, and I know it kicked off last Thursday. Union didn't have a game last week. They have one on Wednesday against Red Bull New York. But I don't know, like I didn't want the World Cup to end. I said it in the intro. I felt like this tournament was going on for the last 12 months, just being so active, watching people post videos on social media, watching as many games as I can come home from work, watching every single game that's on at nighttime, and then not going to bed until 11, 12 o'clock at night. And then it's like, okay, let's go to work, do it all over again because it's so worth it. And so I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm excited for MLS to start back up. I am excited for the union to kick back up, but this World Cup was special, and I think part of it is because it was in America, it was in Mexico, it was in Canada, and maybe it adds an extra something when it is in your backyard.
Yeah,
Mike.
definitely. Yeah, I know. I agree. It's actually funny you mentioned like what next? Like it's over now. Like what now, right? So I'm in a Discord chat with a couple people that we do gambling, sports gambling, and they do not watch soccer at all. They never wanted to, never tried to, but we all were like, hey, let's bet on the World Cup. We bet on the World Cup every single day, and today obviously it ended, and they're upset that it's over. So like we now want to watch more. We want to watch the Premier League or any other league you can think of that just obviously gamble on it, but also just that they actually liked the games and they like the sport. Um, a couple of my friends who saw me post on social media said, "Hey, like this looks like a lot of fun." And I saw someone today that has never been to a soccer game at FanFest, and then I had another friend who went to the World Cup game. I think it was with Curacao. Last minute decision because she saw me posting online. So it's just funny. Like I think the with it being our backyard, it was great for us as soccer fans, but it was great for people who don't know the sport and they could see how much fun it was and gave it a chance. And now there are new fans out there, and hopefully the Philadelphia Union can be a place that they can find similar energy and experience. But at least now they're actually like actively trying to watch the sport, which I think is really cool.
And I also thought it was pretty cool that the Union had soccer celebrations down at Subaru Park where fans can go to Subaru Park for free, be at Union Yards and watch these games. And yeah, hopefully you would hope that some of those fans, okay, now that the World Cup's over, they'll check out their local teams, they'll check out their MLS teams. And I'll be curious to see exactly what the impact is from MLS, from USL, from the different leagues around North America. How much of an influx of new fans are going to come and check out local soccer? So yeah, I hope fans give MLS a chance. Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying, well, what do we do now that the World Cup's over? I guess we watch European soccer. I need a European team. But the truth of the matter is, like, there's plenty of local soccer teams to watch, to choose in this country. And I'm not saying you have to choose an MLS team. I'm not saying that you need to choose a USL team. Look, there's so many colleges around this country too, where okay, might not be the highest brand or playing style of soccer, but there is a lot of soccer that goes on in this country. Jasmine, I'll throw this to you. So you're wearing a Spain jersey, but you're also a Portuguese fan, if I'm not mistaken, because you are Portuguese, correct?
Yes, I grew up supporting Portugal. Portugal's still my number one team. I would tell people that I didn't think Portugal would win the World Cup, so my realistic favorite team is Spain. They're my second favorite team, but realistically, that's who I wanted to win the World Cup.
Yeah, for sure.
If that makes sense.
I'll go ahead and pull up this comment real quick, even though I shouldn't probably entertain it from Zach. Wasting time talking about nonsense volunteering. Should have talked about the other union, how they're going to develop next semester. I'm assuming you're talking about the Philadelphia Union. Look, we were pretty clear last night what we were going to do with this episode. We were pretty clear with what the show description was and what the thumbnail was. Like, I don't know why you're surprised that we're talking about volunteering. Like we said it last night. We made it very, very obvious what we were going to do because let's face it, this was the last day of the World Cup. So of course we were going to spend time talking about that, and it was in our backyard, right? How can we not talk about the FIFA World Cup when it was in North America? We want soccer to grow in this country. And so for us to not talk about Jasmine's experience volunteering, Mike's experience, my experience as a fan, like all of that plays a role into developing soccer in this country. So not really sure what your comment is, your issue is, but look, there's plenty of union talk that goes on throughout this podcast, but appreciate the comment there.
Can I add to that real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Because I think this is not just about union. I think this is just a life thing. Like the union have obviously been very bad this year, really, really tough. And we talk about it every single week. I do the post game show after every single game. It's tiring. Like it's sometimes you need to talk about something different. but I don't know if you guys felt this, and maybe Jasmine, I'll shoot it to you as like a question that I have. This felt like a very much needed break from just everyday life and like reality. And this felt like a vacation in your backyard. And I don't know, for the last 30 days, like, yes, obviously, like things go on in your life and you have work and everything else. But there was also part of it that just felt like you were a little bit more relaxed, a little more free. I don't know. I feel like I just needed this break from life for a bit to just watch a game every single day.
Good, Jasmine. If you want to take it, or I can chime in.
Summer vacation from. It's like, can you hear me?
Now we can, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard what I said prior, but
No.
yeah, it felt like summer vacation because. No, you can't hear me?
No, we can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was a much needed break because that was rough.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're back at it. Hopefully better this time.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, Jose and I talked about it, a lot to be positive about, a lot to look forward to with the union. But I agree with you, Mike. I mean, we try to, even in the off season, like Jose and I try to come on here and talk about Philadelphia Union news. Like, we never really give it a break. Like, we talk about it every single week, even when they're not playing. And so, yeah, of course, like the World Cup's here. Why wouldn't we? And so for me personally, like it felt like a good break not to write articles, not to do goals breakdown videos, not to come on here, talk about another Philadelphia Union loss, try to figure out why they lost that game, trying to stay positive. So I mean, this felt phenomenal to watch World Cup every single day. And yeah, of course I was rooting for the United States. Yeah, I was rooting for England once the United States got knocked out, but it was nice not having your team on every single game, and yeah, you could just sit back and relax and watch soccer and not be stressed out or be upset because your team lost. And so I don't know. I'm really excited, Mike. I'm really happy that we got to experience the 4th of July game together, go to my first World Cup, because I mean, this is incredible, Mike. The view that we had in Philadelphia from our seats, completely sold out stadium after the game, you and I there. I mean,
Look at us.
showing so many people the pictures that we took, Mike. They're like, man, you guys, like, that's pure joy in your face. That's pure happiness. And that's really what I felt throughout this whole tournament. Not that I did prior, but when it was announced that the World Cup was going to be in the United States, nobody knew at the time that it was going to be in Philadelphia. But I always made it a goal of mine. Like, I'm going to do whatever I can to get to a game. It's in the United States. I don't have to go to another country. It's literally in the United States. You may pay an arm and a leg to travel, and it so happened to be up in Philadelphia, an hour and a half drive away. Or thank you, Jose, for allowing me to stay with you and train into the stadium. And so it's a tournament. It's a moment that I'll probably never forget, going to the 4th of July game with you, Mike. I don't know if I'll say it's the best thing that I've ever done, like you said earlier, Jasmine, but it's definitely up there. I mean, it's the World Cup. It's we grew up watching European soccer. We've grown up watching the World Cup in different countries, and here it is in our backyard, and seeing all these people from different walks of life really embracing everything that America has to offer.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll add to that since we were at the game together. I think it was one of those things where how many times did I tell you at the game, Todd, we're at the World Cup. We're at the World Cup right now. Isn't this? I know we texted like 2 days later with the same, like, oh my God, we went to the World Cup the other day. No, I think it's one of those things where it kind of reminds you what's important with life too. Like, sometimes you got to just go out there and live, and you're not, listen, I understand saving money is important, but sometimes you just got to spend it. It's not going to go to the grave with you. You just got to enjoy it. And yeah, those tickets are pricey, but I'll worry about that another day. Right now, I'm just glad I did it. And it just reminds you what's important. You really got to just live your life and have fun and try to make the best memories as you can, because we may not see another World Cup in our lifetime, like I said before. So it's special for sure.
I mean, just think about the players that graced the field in Philadelphia, in Foxborough. You had Holland in Foxborough. You had Mbappe in both stadiums. You had Hakimi up there in Foxborough. Danley John Jock obviously played in both stadium, and yeah, we get to see Danley play at Subaru Park with the Union. Super John McGlynn, seeing all the Scottish fans with their bagpipes, and seeing, again, in your case, just all the superstars with England. So many people tune into the Premier League every single week, Jasmine, and here's Harry Kane right in front of people's eyes. Jude Bellingham with Real Madrid. And seeing local guys that came up through the Union's academy, like a Matt Freeze, like a Mark McKenzie, a Austin Trusty, a Brendan Aronson. I mean, just so many cool local stories. And the U.S. starting the World Cup the best possible way that they could. 4-1 victory over Paraguay. And yeah, the U.S. get humiliated. They get annihilated by Belgium. But I really hope that the U.S.'s performance, the World Cup in general, really inspires the next generation, people that weren't soccer fans, that say, hey, look, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to go ahead and try this whole soccer thing. There's a local team right down the road from me. It may not be the same quality that I was watching throughout the World Cup, but I enjoyed what I saw on TV. And now let's go ahead and take in a local soccer game. What are you guys hoping comes from this World Cup in America? The second one, the first since 1994. I'll go to you, Jasmine. What are you hoping from now that the World Cup's over?
My goal is that MLS grows. I am a little disappointed by their marketing this World Cup. I wish they executed that a bit better. And I do hope that they advertise it more now that the World Cup is over and now people are actively looking for more.
Mike?
No, I think it's the same thing. I know the whole thank you world, we'll take it from here thing that MLS did. I was really, when I saw that, I was like, okay, it's a cool idea, but I really wish it happened in the earlier stages, because that is when your American fans, who are the casual fans, are watching. And even today with the World Cup, I think you mentioned, Todd, on our text, like, oh, they had a couple of commercials, but they were probably either before the match or maybe a little bit after. Maybe people aren't watching that time. I thought they somewhat missed that American viewership, I guess, population, or whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, I think Jasmine's spot on with that. But I think overall, not even just the enjoyment of the sport and watching the sport, but I think the appreciation of the sport. I think a lot of times you hear in this country, oh, well, soccer's not a real sport, or it's not really a great sport, whatever. I think people are just now appreciating, like, it's a physical game and it's exciting and it's thrilling. And yeah, it's maybe 1-0 or 2-1, but when a goal happens, it's awesome. It's fun. It's worth watching. It's worth being on the edge of your seat for 85 minutes before that first goal goes in. So I think, besides what Jasmine said, I think just more appreciation of it as a sport as a whole, because I think America just looks down on it way too much.
Angel says MLS doesn't need pro rail. They need to raise the salary cap, give teams the opportunity to offer players $50 million a year, and the MLS will suppress the Premier League easily. Yeah, I agree. I don't think MLS needs promotion and relegation. I do think that the salary cap needs to be risen. I've talked about it plenty of times over the years here on the podcast, saying that there should be a minimum spend teams should have a season. And yeah, the salary should be risen to teams that have owners that want to spend money. But for some of the teams that don't want to spend a ton of money, Montreal's one of them that comes to mind, of course. Some people are going to say Philadelphia, New York Red Bulls don't spend a lot of money. Yeah, there should be a league minimum, in my opinion, where, let's say, $10 million a year. $10 million is a year, something like that, where you have to go out and spend a league minimum. I don't know if that's something that they'll discuss once a new commissioner gets announced for MLS, but yeah, I do agree that salary cap needs to be something that's addressed. And yeah, maybe we see more designated players at it. Maybe we see more U22 slots at it. There's a lot that MLS can do to grow the sport. I agree with you, Jasmine. Wanted to see a little bit more advertising. And yeah, I get it. It's extremely expensive to run advertisement during the World Cup. And Mike, the ads did come before the match and then after the game today. So yeah, I'm sure they were probably cheaper slots for MLS as opposed to during the hydration breaks or during halftime of the game. But I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic that there's going to be a big turn up in MLS. Yeah, it doesn't help MLS that they are behind Apple TV, where okay, it's a lot better than the season pass subscription where you need it. Season pass where people weren't really wanting to pay for that. Now you need Apple TV, and now you can watch Apple TV, and MLS is included in that. And yes, I know MLS has rights deals with Fox, but the games don't or aren't multiple games a week on Fox. And so I'll be curious to see what local national deals are talked about, discussed again once things are out with Fox. But yeah, I'm optimistic. To Val's point, with Lewandowski now joining with Chicago Fire, I think that will help, especially a Polish market like Chicago. I think that's going to do wonders for Chicago as the league as a whole. I think people will be interested in seeing Lewandowski, and I think there is a point to why fans are saying, you should have went out and got a Thomas Muller or an Antoine Griezmann if you're the Philadelphia Union, bringing in a name to draw more fans in. But I think we all recall, right, when the Union were winning games steadily, 6-7 goal games in 2022, there was no superstar on that team. And at the end of the day, winning is what's going to draw fans out to your stadium. Maybe not watching games from your home and everything. That's not going to play as big of a factor as a Robert Lewandowski would or a Thomas Muller. But at the end of the day, you got to get back to winning games. And if the Union start winning games in the second half of the season, then I'm sure we'll see the fans get behind this team and hopefully push them towards a playoff push. But anything else you guys want to add on the World Cup, Philadelphia Union, before we call it a night?
Jasmine, I'll let you go first.
This was just a once-in-a-lifetime experience, I think, for everyone in the U.S. I don't know when it will come back here, but I feel like at the age I am now and getting the role that I got, just this moment in my life is so special to me. And the 2026 World Cup will be ingrained in my head forever, just simply because it was in my country and I got to see all the people around me getting into the sport that I love and getting to see all of the different cultures and passion from international fans. It was beautiful.
So I don't know if you saw this, 2038, the U.S. may potentially bid for the World Cup coming back. So 12 years from now, I'd be 42. Yeah, we would much rather go to the World Cup at 30 than 42. I mean, who knows what the world looks like in 12 years. But yeah, I kind of have the same mindset with you, Mike, right? Who knows when it's going to come back here. If it comes back in the future, I'm going to be much older than I am now. Why not go and do the World Cup, right? Do it the first time when it's right here in our backyard.
Yeah, definitely. No, I have the same feelings as both of you. Oddly enough, I mean, I know again, Todd, we talk about the Union all the time, 24/7 type of thing, but I really stopped playing soccer in general since I started covering the Union. Obviously, even before that, because I had a kid and just life gets in the way. But I noticed that these last 30, 40 days, I've been touching the ball a lot more often than I usually do, and I'm actually starting to play with my daughter now, just downstairs or wherever outside. So I think like that's it kind of made me fall in love with the sport again. I kind of stopped viewing it as a side job or whatever you want to call this that we do. So I think obviously great memories. I want to remember them forever. I'll never like stop looking at the photographs. But I think one thing that I personally loved about it was that I actually like remembered how much I just loved playing. And I think one of the cool things at FanFest that I forgot to mention earlier was the juggling circles that would form in between games. And you would just play with these strangers for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And it reminded me why I ended up doing all this to begin with. So that was really cool for me.
Yeah, and there's a question here. It says, where does the World Cup rank for you in the ones you have watched? This one was amazing. So many great storylines. How good are you, Jasmine? Do you have one that sticks out to you as your favorite? Maybe it's this one.
2014, that was so special for me. And I said that the only thing that could make this one better was if Spain won it. So I will say that 2026 World Cup is my new favorite, and obviously getting to be a part of it, that also makes it very special for me. I wish I could tell 10-year-old Jasmine, who was collecting the Panini World Cup stickers in her album, that she would be walking across the pitch at the World Cup.
It's unreal. Unreal. I mean, I told you, Jasmine, it's like you're doing a whole bunch of side quests. Like, what is life? Mike, what about you?
Yes,
Sorry, go ahead, Jasmine. My bad.
I found out when I was in Spain, actually, that I got it. So just that whole experience, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to come back from Spain to work the World Cup. This is the best summer of my life.
God, it's funny. I think it might have to be this one. The last four, probably the last few, have either been so swamped with work or life. Obviously, I had it. My daughter's 10 now, so back then she was 6 and 2. So life was different. Life was chaotic. I mean, I know now that I've had this new job, my life has been easier with more of a work-friendly balance. So I think, as much as I've loved watching the games, I've never really was as fully deep into it as I was this year. Otherwise, probably when I had the World Cup, I think it was '98 when I was in Mexico, and I was just visiting the country, and it was on during the World. I was there during the World Cup, so just seeing how that culture and that country experience, it was really unique, and that's one reason why I fell in love with the sport as well. So, I mean, it's hard to pass up the ones you go to, though, Todd. I mean, this one's always going to be my favorite.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for sure this has been my favorite World Cup because, yeah, I got to go to a game and it was in North America. And yes, I know I just said that the rumors are that the US are going to bid for 2038, but there's no guarantee that the US are going to get it again. Who knows when the World Cup's going to come back to America? So, yeah, this is definitely up there with my favorite. I have to give a shout out to the World Cup in 2006 in Germany because that's what got me into the sport. And I had no idea really about soccer. Yeah, my parents were taking me to indoor soccer games for the Baltimore Blast. But yeah, I mean, that's not the highest grade of soccer. Had a 4th of July party at my house and it was Portugal versus England. Didn't know anything about either one of the teams. And the commentators kept talking about England and uh, the commentators kept talking about Manchester United, and even though Portugal defeated England in penalties because the English are so terrible in World Cup knockout movements, and I know they had a good tournament this one and the previous one under Gareth Southgate, but yeah, I mean, anytime England would go to penalties, I've been scarred for life because they seem to let the moment get to them, but. Yeah, I mean, that is the World Cup 2006 in Germany that got me into the sport, why I became a Manchester United fan, why I started supporting the English national team. 2010 is also special with the Lyndon Donovan goal against Algeria in stoppage time. I mean, just so many great World Cups, but I agree. This when you go to a World Cup game, it is indeed your favorite. Valerie says 2002 is my favorite for me because it was the first one I watched start to finish. We'd set our alarms at 2 or 3 in the morning and watch. I believe that was in Korea, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, World Cup comes to an end in America with Spain defeating Argentina 1-0. We have yet to see a country go back-to-back champions in the World Cup. Look like maybe Messi and Argentina would do it after defeating France on penalties in 2022. But the Spain, Barcelona boys, carrying Spain throughout this tournament, which I know makes you extremely happy, Jasmine. But it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor having you both on the podcast. I'll start with you, Mike. A lot of our listeners I know listen to Across the Pitch. Anything you want to plug? Where can people follow you, find the podcast, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So, well, it's again, as I talked to you about this earlier, Todd, it's weird not having been on the microphone for now 6 weeks or whatever it was at the last time the Union played. So, on Across the Pitch on the AAT Sports Network, we do a post game show after every single match. So, obviously, the Union are back in action on Wednesday. After the Red Bulls match, I will be live here in my home in Cherry Hill. So, you can follow me on there. We'll talk about hopefully, hopefully the Union are going to win on Wednesday. So, I'm going to knock on wood and call it now. We're going to be talking about a win on Wednesday night. But otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter at mbarrera1323. And again, Todd, listen, man, we talk every day, but I always appreciate the time and effort you put into this show. So thank you for having me on. You do a great job. And Jasmine, nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too. I listened to your podcast and it didn't click that you were the one hosting it until now, but I love your show.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Jasmine, anything you want to plug where people can follow you on social media?
Yeah, I make sports media on TikTok at Jazz Ferreira 23. I mainly make Barcelona content, but I also do Union for any Union fans that want to follow.
Yeah, so and I'll go ahead and say it again. I mean, you do phenomenal work with the graphics, helping bring the podcast Instagram to life, and I really appreciate everything that you do, Jasmine, to help, try to keep people as informed as possible about the Philadelphia Union, and maybe, just maybe, give people the crazy idea to attend the first MLS game, the first Philadelphia Union game, because the one thing that always blows my mind is you never know who's watching, you never know who's listening, and the amount of people that DM me, the amount of people that come up to me and say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I love the podcast. And again, I said it earlier, without the beautiful game, wouldn't know who any of you guys are, wouldn't know any of the listeners. And so the beautiful game finds a way to connect everybody, and very, very grateful for everything that you do for the podcast, Jasmine. And it's been a blast. And I can't wait to see what you have in store graphics wise coming up in the future. But if you guys aren't following the podcast on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, follow at Free Kick Pod, wherever you get your podcast of The Free Kick. Check out the YouTube channel live, every single podcast, youtube.com/Free Kick Pod. And you can also find the goals breakdown videos there. Hopefully we don't have too many goals to break down this Wednesday. But yes, Mike, I agree. Hopefully a Philadelphia Union win against New York Red Bulls, New York, sorry. And then if you guys want to follow the podcast goals breakdown video or my writing all in one place, thefreekick.substack.com. Again, this has been maybe not a show that we typically do, as we typically just talk all things Philadelphia Union, but it's the World Cup. Why can we not talk about the World Cup? 6 games were played in Philadelphia. Like, how do you not talk about that? So, of course, we're going to recap the World Cup. We're going to talk about our experiences in the World Cup, in Philadelphia, in Foxborough, in North America. So Jose and I will be back on Thursday, I would imagine, for a recap show, talking, hopefully, a Philadelphia Union victory over Red Bull New York. But if not, then we'll talk about the game regardless. So it's been a blast, an hour and 7 minutes here. Thank you for all the comments, whether it be good or bad, on YouTube, the comments that came in to us on Twitter. We appreciate you guys sitting with us for a little bit over an hour. But with that said, my name is Todd, and this is the Free Kick Podcast.